Hey, all right, there we go. We are live. Finally got the internet back up and working, so we've got that going on. That's good to see. I hate to start off like this, but we kind of have to start off like this. Want to give thoughts, prayers, whatever you believe, however you can uplift somebody. Jimmy Johnson and his family. I don't know how many people have heard about the tragedy, but they had. I don't want to get too into it. I want to let everything come out, but they've had a loss of family members. It seems like a very terrible, terrible, and tragic situation. So I just want to send thoughts, prayers, whatever, however you lift people up in moments like this. Definitely, hopefully, everybody is with the Jimmy Johnson family. And because of that, he has pulled out of the street race in Chicago. So, and I don't blame him at all. I think it's probably the best thing to do. I don't see any situation where that would be a good idea for him to race in a situation like this. But like I said, just thoughts and prayers go out to them, to that family, because what they're dealing with seems, from the reports we've seen so far, seems to be very serious. And just want to uplift them as much as I can, because it's just a bad deal for sure. That being said, I don't want to get too far into that, because I just don't want it to be that type of stream. But definitely want to lift him up. But there's definitely other things that we can cover that are not as serious and as tragic. Sheldon Creed catching a suspension for his actions. It looks like the streaming deal for the Xfinity series has hit a snag there. And Adam Stern confirmed what I've been telling you guys for a long time, that the Busch Beer announcements with Ross Chastain will be coming soon, so we can get into all of that. And yeah, oh, by the way, we got the Chicago race coming up, and Ross Chastain won a race, and nobody accused him of running into him. So is it really a new Ross Chastain? We'll get into that a little bit later too. But I'm going to jump into the comments for just a second, and then I'll jump into the first topic. Good to be back, though. Good to be back. Salty Lopez says, praying for Jimmy. That stuff happened in my hometown. Yeah, just a terrible situation. I hate that anybody has to go through that. Mark Barnum, what's up, man? Good to see you on here. One Wise Guy, nice hat, BB. Yeah, so Accelerated Graphics, acceleratedgfx.com. Go there, check it out. And that is my store. Go to affiliates, and that's where the link is. Or you can click this link right here that I'm fixing to drop in the chats. And we've got these hats. We've got this hat like this. I've got one in my car that's camouflaged that I'm supposed to be showing to you guys today, but I forgot it. It's in my car. And I don't want to get up and walk out there and make you guys stare at a blank screen for a minute or two. So there is a camouflage one like this too. So, and it's pretty cool. I think the camouflage one is mesh. This one is the Flex Fit. Somebody, I think it was Flex Fit. So here it is. Here's the Flex Fit with the patch. We got that going for you. Still working on your tank tops, man. I ain't forgot about you. Earth 2 internet today, or is it doing good, baby? Yeah. This is the Earth 1 internet, so hopefully it sticks out with us, and we're able to keep it going here. Ross the boss says, Mark Barnum, yeah. Ross Chastain put on a clinic. Really, that was a textbook how to win the race. He had the fastest car. He raced everybody clean. Nobody can complain about how he won that race, other than maybe it was kind of hard to pass. But the story of Ross Chastain winning that race, I think, sort of carried it for everybody. Let's see. I wonder if Ross will be running the Be Light car for their new marketing to get fans back. Says Escobar. That's a good question. They're going to want to get that brand back up and running as quick as possible. I think it's still going to be the Busch Light car, but that could definitely change. Very fluid. That might be one of the reasons they haven't announced it yet. But from original reports, it's going to be the Busch Light car, but easily things could have gotten fluid there, and they could have changed it up. Yeah, that's a good thought. I like where you're going with that. that definitely could be something they do, trying to get some momentum back behind that brand after the controversy happened or whatever. And today they finally fired, I guess, the people that were part of that controversy. So we'll see how that plays out to everybody involved in that. I don't get into that stuff. There's a million channels that do politics and stuff like that. I don't get into it, but I did have to acknowledge it there because it is the sponsor or the future sponsor of Ross Chastain. Robin Mark says, howdy from the Great White North. Melonhead Power. Yep, for sure. Old Melonhead putting them down and doing a great job. We'll see if this is the new Melonhead. I think he's still going to race really hard. I think he just wanted to prove a point that he could run clean and he doesn't just run over people. And that being said, he gets criticized for things that other drivers do the exact same thing of too. There's just a bigger spotlight on him for whether it was Denny Hamlin or because he was in the Final Four last year. But for whatever reason, there's a bigger spotlight on him when he does it. Ian Fisher says, or he does it more often than other people. That's been an argument some people have made too. Love seeing the Chastain back in the saddle, just not catching heck for his aggressive driving. Yeah, he was aggressive this time, but it seemed to be more measured. It seemed to me he kind of wanted to prove a point. He's like, I don't have to wreck you guys to win. I can just straight out win. I was wondering about where you were. Sounds to me. Many prayers. Yeah, John Williams. First off, thanks for lifting up Jimmy Johnson there. Far bigger things than racing as far as that goes. And yeah, my internet was out for like a week. They were doing some utility work and they hit a line, and I guess I was the last house on the list, so I was the last one they got to. It was an absolute nightmare getting them out here, though. I'll tell you that much right now. I'm not even going to mention the company because I don't want to run them down like that. But it was not fun. I'll be looking for other options in the future. Dear God, please let Starlink get here sooner rather than later. I'm on the Starlink waiting list. So hopefully when I get that, it'll be much faster internet. Do you think Hocevar wins another truck race this season, says one wise guy? I think he certainly has the ability. And I think he can get it done. So, yeah, I would say yes on that. By the way, there is a poll question. I forgot to mention that. How do you think the Chicago race will go? I put the options up. It will be great. It will be okay. It will be bad. And I put it in there. I hate it so much it doesn't matter. I put that in there because I think there are some people that just don't like it so much. It doesn't matter how good of a race it is. I think they'll still just not like it. So if you want to vote on the poll, there is the poll there. From social media, those seem to be the most common answers. Let's see. Would you drive semi-trucks for a full-time living, says OJ and Toothpaste? I wouldn't mind it. Like, I've often thought about that. Probably before YouTube, I probably would have thought about it harder. I also have a really bad back, so that would factor into it too. But I'm pretty sure they've got like crazy good lumbar chairs and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't mind being a driver. Maybe not even a semi-truck, but just maybe like a parts driver or something like that. Like a local route, I guess I should say. Not like a great big route or anything like that. But yeah, that would definitely be something that appeals to me. It's I'm an introvert, so a lot of alone time doesn't really bother me. Mark Barnum. Howdy, Robin. And Robin Mark says, howdy, Mark. I asked for the flex fit. So I was one wise guy. I actually remembered something. I'm proud of myself. I appreciate it. That's awesome, man. I'm glad I actually remember who actually asked for it. A lot of times I just forget. I remember somebody asked about something and I forget who it was. What's up, Shy? Good to see you on here. Joseph Wooten, who was ready for the Pooh show in Chicago. So yeah, right in with the poll question. How do you think the Chicago street race will go? We'll jump into that in a little more detail in just a minute. That 3-wide race for the lead was awesome. Yeah, so the restarts, I hated the stage cautions in that race, by the way, but the restarts were awesome when we got them because you got some 3-wide racing. And what I hated about the stage cautions were there was going to be some 3-wide racing for the lead because of tire fall off, but we got that taken from us at certain points because of the manufactured stage cautions. Oh, yeah, and NBC's camera coverage stinks, says E. Damon. Yeah, they were not on top of it like they usually are. Still slightly better than Fox, but I'll tell you what I did like about NBC better than Fox. But you're right, the camera work itself was not on par with what you're used to seeing from NBC. I did like the long post race, and a lot of people were complaining you didn't get a lot of a pre-race. That's because NASCAR itself moved up the thing, so I can't take that away from them. That's on NASCAR for moving it up. But we did get a nice long post race, and hopefully that's a trend we'll see on Fox next season as well. Let me crow again. Pole to win, 3 wide without wrecking anybody. Noah holds them up, no mind. splits lap traffic. I was watching from in-car right through the middle. Yeah, that was a crazy. And here's the thing. When he split those cars and went 3 wide to get past Eric Almirola, that easily could have gone the other way, and people would have been talking about, oh, here we go. Ross Chastain wrecked another one because he wasn't being patient. But because the move worked this time, everybody's like, oh, it's the new Ross Chastain. He hasn't run into anybody. But if that move hadn't have worked, if the Rick Ware racing car that was on the outside hadn't have moved up and allowed Ross Chastain to split them, here we are once again talking about Ross Chastain hasn't changed. So that's what I was talking about earlier when I said, is it really a different Ross Chastain? So we will have to see. I think he's always going to be aggressive, but he did seem to be more measured this time than in times past. Busch Melon Beer, says Mark Barnum. So that's actually one thing we were talking about with my buddies at work today. Once Busch Light takes over, because you see they got the Busch Apple, they've had the Busch Peach on Kevin Harvick's car this weekend. It will be a missed opportunity if they don't have a Busch Watermelon beer next year when they team up with Ross Chastain. So I want to throw that out there as well. I didn't like that NBC didn't have a pre-race show and how they started with the cars behind the pace car. Yeah, so definitely the way they started off was a little different. But I think that could be because NASCAR moved it up on them so much. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes this weekend with the pre-race as long as it doesn't get moved up again. So I think that could be just because NASCAR moved it up. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying in this particular situation, I think it could be because NASCAR bumped up the start time. Shaw says Melon Moose. I like that. He even did the Moose thing. I like it when he wins. He does the Moose thing in victory lane. So that's pretty cool too. I heard Bud Ice will actually be on the one car full time, not Busch Light. Hey, don't hate on Bud Ice. It doesn't taste good, but it does the trick a lot more rapidly than regular beer. Robert Stone, or I guess some people do hate on Bud because of political things now, but I don't get into that stuff. BB was living like it's 1998 again for a week. Oh, let me tell you something, Robert Stone. In a lot of ways, I'm kind of bummed out that I do have internet. Like, I wish I could stick to just using internet for streaming and doing this right now, because it was actually a lot more peaceful. I was reading books. Like, it was crazy. I was picking up long lost DVDs that I hadn't looked at in eons. So it wasn't all bad. You don't realize how plugged in you are sometimes. And man, like, I don't know, it kind of makes me want to take this phone right here and throw it in the woods. Cause it was actually kind of really peaceful. Not having the internet. Robin Mark says, I caught Eric's video when they did driver intros. He got a louder cheer than Chase Elliott, and there's just as many boos as cheers. Rock on. Yeah, that's actually what I like about it. I like drivers that get just as many boos as cheers, because those are the drivers that drive the sport as far as they can possibly take it to another level. That's Jeff Gordon. More boos than cheers sometimes, more cheers than boos sometimes, but definitely had both. Same thing with Dale Earnhardt Sr. When you get a driver like that, that driver seems to elevate the sport a lot of the times for whatever reason. Stephen Emilio Jr., I heard that the ticket prices were very high. Yeah, so that's been a talking point for Chicago and Wilkesboro. Actually, the ticket prices are super high. So that could be an issue as well. We'll have to see how the attendance goes. Everything about Chicago is going to get nitpicked. That's for sure. Over the road trucking is hard on your legs, buddy. We're talking varicose veins at 49. Yeah. So there you go. Maybe not over the road, but maybe, maybe like a rural route. I do like road trips though, but I'll say it like this. I like road trips because I'm going where I want to go. I thought I liked working on cars, but it turns out I like working on my cars. When I'm getting paid to work on somebody else's car, I don't like it. So it might be a situation like that. I might be romanticizing getting paid to drive trucks because I'm thinking about, I could be going wherever I want to go. But not in reality, I like road trips because I'm going where I want to go. Whereas if I'm taking a package somewhere, I might end up hating the truck life. So we'll have to. That's a fair point. I'm glad you brought that up there. Looks like we got a super chat. Robin Marks, appreciate it. I'll celebrate every time Melonhead wins with a super chat. I appreciate you, Robin Marks. Kurt's retired, so I'm happy with my new driver. I think you picked a good one. Farmer's Rule, definitely. He definitely pulls in a blue collar crowd, and I think that's another big part of his mystique too. I have to send super chats because I can't buy merch. Sorry, Canada funds. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have international shipping just yet. Canada and Mexico will probably be the first two that we get on there. but I will work with them and see what we can get going about that. But yeah, appreciate the super chat. The other thing about Ross Chastain, I think that a lot of people, not only the blue collar thing, but also he's got that I'll do whatever it takes to win, and if you mess with me, I will punch you. So that's very much the old Dale Earnhardt fans are very much liking that aura and presence that he has as far as that goes. Because they kind of, in my opinion, get tired of these drivers that get out of their cars and immediately go to Twitter and like, oh, this guy's a big meanie, I hate him, blah, blah, blah. They're fighting on Twitter, whereas if you talk junk to Ross Chastain, he'll fight you in real life. So that's kind of a throwback driver that a lot of people like. Not naming any names as to who fights on Twitter, but you can take a guess. Speaking of which, if you want to check the merch store, there might be one in there. There might be a shirt that alludes to somebody that likes to fight on Twitter. Ross the Boss, heck yeah. Denny Sucks says Josh Strickland. Hey, right on cue. What's up, Josh Strickland? Good to see you on here. And yeah, Ross Chastain put on a great race. No doubt about it. Stephen Emilio Jr. says no pre-race. Yeah, that's because they started the NASCAR bumped up the start time. So we'll see if that was an NBC thing or if it's just because NASCAR started the race early. Napa Racing fan, what's up? Good to see you on here. Condolences to the Jimmy Johnson and his wife and their family day. Yeah, without a doubt. For those that missed it, I started out the show like that. But yeah, some things are bigger than racing, and that's definitely one of them. So hopefully they get lifted up because that's just a terrible thing to happen. Mark Barnum, I like the multi-views on NBC. I did like that they showed the leader and the best race on the track. I did like that particular camera angle. So hopefully Fox picks up on that, and we'll see that on Fox next year as well. The post-race or whoever has it next year, however the TV deal is going. Speaking of which, we'll get to that in a moment too. If you want to, the post-race is needed and well appreciated. Yeah, definitely. 100% agree with you, Tacona. 100%. You need the post-race. That's definitely a big thing Fox was missing without question. Nashville racing is like Phoenix on Zanny. I've seen freeway traffic more exciting, spreads the field so fast. It was really hard to pass. Yeah, for sure. Like it kind of reminded me of Martinsville, but NBC did a better job than Fox does of showing the races on the track. So there were some cars that could pass, but for the most part, it was a track position race. But showing Ross Chastain because he could pass cars, Martin Truex could pass cars, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick before he lost the wheel, showing those guys being able to pass cars was good. I miss Shaw asking the question. Says say Kyle, it's all good, brother. OJ and Toothpaste, what do you like better, old Milwaukee or natural ice? I can't, OJ and Toothpaste, I can't drink anything natural. Anything natural light, natural ice. It has like an aluminum aftertaste to me. So I'll go with old Milwaukee all day. Actually, I don't mind old Milwaukee to me. Missed opportunity is and on Earth too. Old Milwaukee and Schlitz are the best selling beverages of choice. Missed opportunity is Busch Beer not sponsoring KFB. Says Ghetto Streamlabs. I 100% agree with you on that. Like just for one race, and it doesn't even matter. Well, it would have to be some type of Busch. Like you could do Busch Light. Like here's what I think they should do: do Busch Light on Ross Chastain and do Busch Heavy on Kyle Busch. That's awesome. Like sort of like what Bass Pro Shops does. I think that would be an option that they could look at. John Lewis, Ross is the man, or you could do a brand that's struggling because of a controversy on Ross Chastain's car, and you could do Busch Light on Kyle Busch's car. Ross is the man. Glad he won. Gives the fence sitters something else to harp on, says John Lewis. Yeah, that's for sure. It was super funny how all of a sudden Jeff Burton's tried to do a 180 because he got so much blowback for it last year for how he was talking about Ross that he bent over the other way to sort of pump him up. I like the clip Race Hub had of Chastain with the announcer saying Nashville will want to play the watermelon crawl tonight for Chastain. I thought that was clever. Yeah, no doubt about it. That was good. I did like his celebration too. He showed so much emotion in the celebration. It wasn't just like one of those drivers like been there, done that type of deal. So I did like that. Try dealing with Comcast as your ISP, says RJ. Fun fact. They are, I think they're the owner of the company that I am dealing with. It's just one of their subsidiaries. So fun fact, I kind of was in a roundabout way. Working on any new documentaries. One Wise Guy, I'm actually working on one that I'm pretty excited about. It's going to require some travel, so it's a little bit further behind than I'd like it to be, but hopefully I can get it knocked out next week. We've got the beginning of the Virginia Triple Crown for short track racing this weekend in South Boston, the Harley Davidson race at South Boston. So that's going to be a big one. But after that, hopefully I'll be able to get on the road and make some progress on that. They started closing the remaining streets in Chicago for the race this weekend, and a lot of locals are beyond annoyed with it already. Yeah, the traffic is going to be an issue. It just seems like one of those things that the city doesn't want it. The locals are just going to get irritated by it, and there's fewer people that really are into it and want it compared to the people that are going to be upset by it. Is the impression I get, but who knows? Like, we'll have to see how it plays out and comes off. But there's a poll question if you want to vote on it. What did I put here? How do you think the Chicago race will go? It'll be great. It'll be okay. It'll be bad. I hate it so much. It won't matter. So far right now, it'll be okay. Is at 45% leading the way. After saying it's going to be hard to stay out of the walls at Chicago, Logano called the upcoming Chicago street race the Toe Link 250 on Sirius XM this morning. Says, Ghetto Streamlabs. That's hilarious. That's pretty funny. So that's I didn't catch that. So that's actually pretty good. Napa Racing Fan says, do you have internet as fast as Xfinity 10G? I do not. I have. I don't think I even have 1G internet where I'm at. BB touched the grass last week. LOL, says Robert Stone. I touch the grass every week, but I touched the grass all week last week. I laid in it. I slept in it. It was pretty funny. Let's see. And somebody's going to take that the wrong way. Actual grass, not the grass that you roll up and set on fire. Mark Barnum, my nephew drives for Mangum Trucking and has decided and has a dedicated route every day. Yeah, that probably wouldn't be as bad. Hey, PV, how does the grass feel? It feels amazing. Let's see. Never slept so good. Since you work on cars, what's the biggest pile of junk you constantly have to work on? Geo Metro, Pontiac Aztec. Said OJ and toothpaste. Well, back when I worked on them the most, I was working at Ford. So this is going to be completely skewed at Ford. So don't be like, oh, he's calling out Fords. That's not it. It's just that I happen to work at Ford. The car that we had the most trouble with was the Ford Explorer. We called it the Ford Exploder. And it was because it had so many electrical problems. I replaced EGR valves or O2 sensors or on those things, and they wouldn't even be 2 years old. They wouldn't even be 1 year old. Like we were replacing those two things all the time. So those things and the up and down, the power windows, those switches went out quite often. So we were constantly working on those. It wasn't even like anything difficult or hard. It was just annoying because it was hard to get to the O2 sensor up around the exhaust. And anytime you got to take the door off repeatedly, especially when you see the same car 2 or 3 times and you're replacing the door switch, we call them the Ford Exploders because that particular era of that Ford Explorer wasn't great. I'll say probably 2004 to 2007. So that was the Ford Exploders. Hallelujah, BB. Saved my week. Appreciate it, T-Van. What do you call a dead man in Finland? Finished, says RJ. That's pretty good. Frankie Munoz first DNF this season. Yeah, hopefully he's okay. There was some talk that he didn't put his window net down immediately, so some people were worried about him. I thought NBC was okay, and Suarez hit with Briscoe was hilarious. Yeah, it seemed like Chase Briscoe was just irritated and went really fast around the cars on the outside because he hadn't passed anybody all day, so I guess he wanted to pass him at the end. And Daniel Suarez just wanted to go celebrate with his teammate, and Chase Briscoe just slammed into him. And I don't know what Chase Briscoe was thinking, to be honest. Like, he even had time to slow down, but it looked like there was never any brakes given. But that he could have braked. I don't know. I saw the in-car view of it, so who knows? ARCA is becoming 17-car field. ARCA's been boring for a while. I agree with you, Napa Racing fan. 17-car fields and only 2 cars that are competitive. I agree with that 100%. I agree with it. It's only for them to get their super speedway license at this point. Old Milwaukee is always in my fridge beer. Is my fridge beer. Says Shaw. Keystone Light isn't bad. Says Delmar Coleman. Yeah, Keystone Light and Ice House. As long as you drink them cold, they're not bad. But once they get a little bit warm, to me, in my opinion, they go sour pretty quick. How about them Fords? Says Mark Johnson. They had an awful week. I want to talk about Deegan wrecking out again this week. Hey, she's not living up to the hype. What can you do? Here's where to watch after BB tonight. So there you go. Mark Barnum posting up the link there. Napa Racing fan. I love how Lawless Allen came out and said Deegan is talentless. What has he done lately? So if ever there was a situation where somebody is probably irritated at somebody because they do the exact same thing they do, that was that situation. Because Lawless Allen is far from innocent as far as wrecking people, in my opinion. I've given up on Deegan, says Shaw. Yeah, she's having a rough spot right here. There's no doubt about that. It's one of those things when she finishes races, she finishes anywhere from like 10th to 15th. So that seems to be, as far as trucks goes, that seems to be where she's going to finish. But she just needs to finish races, and she's not finishing races. Hi, B, how is the internet going? Says Chrome Diesel. So far, so good. So hopefully it holds up for a whole smash here. Robin Mark says Denny said he texted Ross to congratulate him. Ross went to winner's circle when Denny won to do so, but Denny could only text because he wanted to bolt and beat the traffic to the point. Yeah, so that's another thing. The biggest race on the racetrack is sometimes after the race. They're racing to the airport. That other girl is looking like a good driver, though. Yeah, she's made leaps and bounds. Talking about Tony Bredinger, Shaw is. She's made leaps and bounds since I originally saw her driving a late model. I'll give her that. I see Deegan in the 28 Xfinity next year, backed by SHR. I think she just needs to go to Xfinity, period. She just needs to change the scenery and just to change it up. Like at this point, you're just not going to be good in trucks. You need to change your mind and do something different, whether it be Xfinity or something else. But the truck series isn't working out for you. You just need a clean sheet and a fresh start as far as that goes. Send Deegan to Xfinity. Not saying she deserves a promotion, but there's plenty of examples of drivers doing bad or mediocre in trucks that end up doing well in Xfinity. Yeah, like all the people that remember when Kyle Busch was complaining that nobody could win in his Toyota Tundras, and they all went to the Xfinity Series and started winning. So there you go. That's definitely a fair point. Of which Todd Gilliland has he's really turned it around. Todd Gilliland is probably the best example of that. He's turned his whole career around after getting out of the Kyle Busch truck, which was a highly rated truck, and he was getting crushed for not winning in it. He finally did win a race at Martinsville toward the end of the year, but now he went to the Xfinity Series, did good. Now he's in the Cup Series, and he's making a name for himself. On a Silverado with a 5.3 Vortec LM7, what upgrades would you suggest? Says Chrome Diesel. Just get the ECU pumped up. You got plenty of engine, but it can completely be unlocked if you take it to a tuner. There's one in Durham, North Carolina, if you're interested, called Blazing High Performance. They specialize in the LS motors and the LM7 motors for trucks and vans and whatever. They can help you out however you would like to. Blazing High Performance, Durham, North Carolina. So check them out if you're interested. Deegan, and they don't pay me to promote me or anything like that. It's just a really good place to go. Deegan just doesn't have the hard charge attitude. She's a different driver than she used to be. She used to not mind running into people, and I think they've got her a lot more skittish than she originally was, and I think that is part of the problem, Shaw. I just don't think Xfinity will be any better. It might not be, but she definitely needs a clean, just a total change of what she's doing. She's just got too much negative momentum in the truck series. Let's see. My sister's lived in Chicago for years. She hates NASCAR and really hates this race. Robert Stone. I think there's a lot of people in that boat. Prayers for Jimmy Johnson's family. Get off track at Sonoma here with a little dirt. He did the same in Chicago. You had a solid concrete wall, no safer barrier, especially with Blaney having this issue. Yeah. They need to just start putting safer barriers everywhere. It's to that point. They've had long enough to get all these tracks up to date, up to code. So riding with wheels, I appreciate that comment about Jimmy Johnson as well. Yeah, they definitely need to get the walls lined here. Napa Racing Fan, NBC has their faults, but they get too much praise because of how bad Fox has become. That's where I'm at with it, Napa Racing Fan. It's not that NBC is so much better. It's that Fox has gotten so bad. Dawson Fair, who do you think is going to win the inaugural NASCAR Xfinity race at Chicago Street Course? Let's see. Tyler Reddick is really good at road courses right now. I wouldn't count out any of the Trackhouse guys. And if ever there was going to be a time for a ringer to win a race, Shane Van Gisbergen, this could be the time that one of those ringers wins a race. So that would be my wild card. And then I would go Trackhouse or Tyler Reddick. And, of course, Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, you got to put in that mix as well. I hope my and I try to not pick Kyle Larson because the obvious bias I have. Same thing with Kyle Busch. Anybody named Kyle, anybody drives for RCR, anybody that drives for Richard Petty. I hope Kyle Rowdy Busch gets win number 100 for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Yeah, I hope so too. My pick for Xfinity is Cole Custer. Oh, Xfinity race is going to be good too, I think, because there's going to be no Cup drivers in the Xfinity race, so that's going to be a big win for whoever gets that win. As far as that goes, Elite, what's up, man? Good evening, BB. All three races delivered over the weekend. I can't think of the last time this happened. Yeah, that's it's been quite a while. Maybe Bristol one time before they went to the next gen car. Bristol maybe. Rodney Jackson, I've heard that Hailie Deegan may be out. She might be, but she's got enough money she'll pick up somewhere. The only thing worse than warm beer is a hot beer, says Shaw. That's a fact. No Cup driver in Xfinity this weekend. Yep, for sure. It's going to make for a good Xfinity race. Ice House is good, but I miss Red Dog. Yeah, Red Dog, they apparently still make it, but you can't find it except for maybe one or two regions that have it. Tony Bredinger has beaten Deegan heads up in every race she has ran this season, says Delmar Kaufman. Yeah, so far. Hey, Baloney from up here in Nova Scotia. What's up, Nova Scotia? What's up, Canada? And what's up, Danny Price? Napa Racing fan, NASCAR bought ARCA and just seems to have gotten worse. Yeah, they bought it just to buy it, just to basically not have competition. And they've run it in the ground. They're just using it as a series, basically at this point, like I said, to get your super speedway license. E. Damon, given the fire, have a known aero issue. Is NASCAR going to balance that out, or just let them be handicapped? Ford has a known. So far, it looks like they're just going to let them be handicapped as far as that goes, E. Damon. They have made no moves to correct the nose issue that the Fords have. I won't touch a 5.4 Triton anymore, especially if it's got an exhaust manifold issue. I refuse to work on North Stars. Two good ones not to work on, Robert Stone, by the way. So GM can quit snickering. 100%. Everybody makes good stuff, and everybody makes bad stuff. I've told people that all the time. So there's absolutely no doubt about that. There's also with the 5.4 Tritons, there's a very aggravating thing with the spark plugs when you take them out. They like to break off. So working on the spark plugs on a 5.4 on certain models, they fixed the issue on the newer ones. But back in the day, working on the 5.4s, getting the spark plugs out was not fun. Gettingthestands.com. Check out the link from One Wise Guy. It's a great link for checking out your local racing at your local tracks that are around you. So if you're on vacation or something and want to find a track around you, that is a great site to check out. It's good that you got your internet back. Otherwise, you would have to Morse code for your stream. Yeah, I was actually working on some places I could stream from, to be honest with you. Just coming to you loud as possible from Starbucks. The stream would last 5 minutes before they kick me out. Robert Stone, the only time I've ever been put in adult timeout was drinking Steel Reserve. High gravity, brother. Nastiest beer ever, but strong enough to get you in trouble. That's a fact, brother. I've seen some people get in trouble with that one. Elite, if Deegan doesn't impress in the Xfinity, then all my hope will be gone for her. But to be honest, I don't see Xfinity being any better for her. She'll probably run poor in that series, but less wrecking. Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see her have a full season where she doesn't have 10 or 12 DNFs. I think if she works on the DNF thing and she's got to work on her restarts, that's her two biggest weaknesses. She's losing a lot of track position on restarts, and she's wrecking too much. And part of that is the restart issue. NASCAR makes similar bad decisions like IBM. That being said, and that handicaps me from saying I don't know how good of or bad of a driver she is because she's not fixing those problems right there. But hopefully she'll get them under control in the future, and we can see where she can get on actual driving talent alone, not like miscellaneous stuff, which I know that's part of it too. I'm just saying you get what I'm getting at. Deegan is like Chastain, says Claude Vias. To an extent, not as many wins though. Like Ross Chastain, when he was doing it, he was closer to the front. That's going to be the big argument. And Shaw says, strong disagree. And I'm pretty sure what he means is when Ross was doing it, he was toward the front. But I'm not giving up on Hailie Deegan. I think she still has a chance. Here's the analogy I used a few live streams ago, or at least a few weeks ago. Michael Waltrip was always always had a ride because he could always get a sponsor. I could see Hailie Deegan being a Michael Waltrip type racer. She's going to stay in it long enough because she has sponsors, and she could end up getting a win or two here or there, just like Michael Waltrip did. AJ winning this Sunday may be the only good thing that comes from it. He is committed to jumping in the fountain if he wins. Hey, that would be cool. AJ, another one. You could easily talk about AJ Allmendinger the same way you talk about Ross Chastain, but for whatever reason, they don't. Like, he drives, he runs into just as many people, but that's just AJ being AJ. And that's what I'm talking about, how the media just like swings their bias on certain stuff. Claude said, Shaw, really? Every city that gets the street race hates it. 8 weeks of construction. People in Vegas are livid over the F1 race coming up. It's a nightmare if you live in any of these big cities, says E. Damon. I like how you said bling cities. I like calling Las Vegas Bling City. The Bling City 400 coming to you from Las Vegas. Elite Precision. Justin Marks is my pick for Xfinity race this weekend. Oh, yeah, I forgot he was racing in there. So that's going to be good, too. Everyone is thinking Carl Edwards will be in the 91. I hope he is sometime this year. But I don't think so. I think Lawless Allen will get a shot one race in the Trackhouse 91. He might, OJ and Toothpaste, who I think Carl Edwards is actually more lined up for, might be that 84 when they go over to Toyota. I could see Carl Edwards doing that deal. Deegan and Decker in an MMA ring, please, says Matt Hunter. So there you go. There's the queen of YouTube and the new OnlyFans model. So that's what Matt Hunter wants to see. By the way, if I cheer for a certain driver, it seems to curse them. So Deegan will probably win this weekend now that I have forsaken her. LOL. And just to be clear on the Decker thing, she was sponsored by OnlyFans. So that's the only reason I threw that in there. I wasn't throwing shade. Danny Price, it's a thick fog here tonight, but we had a great weekend of racing here at Scotia Speed World. I had a 150 lap pro stock here this weekend. So there you go. I'm glad you had a good race. It rained here all weekend. All of our stuff got rained out except for Tri-County. My mom was 5'2" because she lied, redhead, freckles, and tiny. She traveled by Chicago to Chicago by herself to visit my uncle. She found out where to go and what not to do. She was fine. So there you go. And that's I was watching an old Anthony Bourdain thing, and they were, even back then they were talking about, everybody talks about the high levels of crime here, but it really only happens on one or two streets, and those are the streets that they call Chirac or whatever it's called over there. So either way, it's Chicago week, so I'm not even going to worry about it getting the marks. At some point, they're just going to get the marks, so we're just going to roll with it this week. As far as the street race goes, happy to see the Echo Park. 200? Is it the Echo Park 200? Was happy to see Eric Jones get a top 10. Says T-Van. Yeah, me too. 100%. Glad to see him get a top 10. They needed that. The car at ARCA is also the problem. Yeah, they're super old Cup cars, so that's part of it too. It was the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour, so that seems like I've heard of that one before. So I feel like that's a pretty big deal up in Canada. We have one down here, the Carolina Pro late models. That's kind of similar to that. Warm Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is awful, says OJ and Toothpaste. Yeah, I like a good Sierra Nevada though, as long as it's mildly cold. Danny Price, take off, you fellow hose head, says Robin Marks. We could get ham radios. Sad to see what Jimmy Johnson is going through. Yeah, for sure. Jimmy Johnson, just a rough deal. Denny Ham radio, says Shaw. Looks like they gave you a few more bits of data, BB. You look clear. Usually it's fuzzy. It could have been dying the whole time. So maybe that was part of the issue with the live streams too. Maybe the cable was slowly going out. So who knows? But I'm pretty sure they hit it when they hit everybody else's with the big. They're putting in power lines, and I think they hit a line. Let's see. That should be his podcast name, says Shaw. Denny the Ham Hamlin. I got to go. Good night. Thanks for hanging out with us, John Lewis. Mustangs will have a new nose on 2024. Yeah, because they got a whole new car basically coming. Well, or at least a new. I don't think it's a whole new car, but it's a redesign of the current car coming out. John Lewis. Good night. Let's see. How many NASCAR diecast do you own? Is it hard for you to choose a car's paint scheme depending on the driver? I just sort of pick the ones I like for whatever reason, whether it be paint scheme or a special win or something like that. But I got a bunch of them. No, I'm not even going to bother counting them because it's a lot. NASCAR Xfinity Series is not going Amazon Prime, at least for the full. Yeah, that's what I was getting at earlier. Not for the full season. NASCAR is backed out of that plan. TV negotiations are expected to be done late summer, early fall. Yeah, so the TV negotiations were supposed to be done earlier than that, but it hit a snag with the apparently something happened with the streaming deal, and that fell through. So that's put a snag in the TV negotiation. So it's going to be late summer, early fall before it's finally announced. Good comparison with Deegan and Waltrip, says Shaw. Yeah, it's the first driver I think of when I think about a guy that had a big sponsor but never stacked up like multiple races, but that sponsor was loyal to him. I could see a situation like that with Hailie Deegan in the future. Streamers are holding the deal back. Says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, that's 100% what's happening. Would you ever consider doing a video showing your NASCAR diecast? I would. I just got to figure out a really good way to do it. I tried one video. I did like a short of a car I had, and it just didn't do really well. So shorts are not the way to go for that. But I'll try to figure out something in the future. I just haven't figured out a good way to present it just yet. But it's on the list of things I'm trying to figure out. Michael Waltrip had 352 starts before he won a race, says Mark Barnum. Yep. The wife wants time, and she's prettier. LOL. So stop in and support the best NASCAR channel on YouTube. Though everyone hit that like button, says Robert Stone. I appreciate you hanging out with us, Robert Stone. Spend some time with your wife. Waltrip also had brother Daryl. That's 100% for sure. And his other brother Daryl, says Shaw. So that's for sure. Let's see. And my other, I just read that one. Joel. But if what is that? Newhart. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother. My name is Daryl. This is my brother Daryl, and this is my other brother Daryl. Joel says, I'm pretty sure Trackhouse wants to keep the 91 for legends in the sport and other motorsports. It could be. It could be. We'll just have to see how that plays out. Riding with Wheels. If we listen to what Tony Stewart said, he would take talent over money any day. Well, Monster is only going to carry that girl so far. Yeah, for Tony it will, but she'll get opportunities and other stuff. And to further emphasize the Michael Waltrip deal, Michael Waltrip drove for lower level teams for a long time as well. Whatever happened to Landon Castle, I never understood that guy's deal. He wasn't any good and continued to race. I don't know. He was at he finally ended up at Colleague and got a good chance over there with that currency deal that they had put together, and they prepaid, luckily enough for him. He got a full season, and he said he just couldn't figure out how to win. But he's super big on Twitter, so he can get sponsors easily for some reasons. I don't know. Rain, what is not that rained here in 2 months? It has not rained here in 2 months. We got a week of it last week, and I think we're gonna get some more this week as well. Hey, Robert Marks, I'm in a Blue Noser. That will confuse them. LOL, says Danny Price. Have you heard Natalie Decker might be running Daytona in August, NASCAR Xfinity race this year? She could. She's able to put funds together. She just doesn't seem to be able to do it for a full season. Do you know? I know what you mean, Danny Price, Canuck Power. Bob Newhart, LOL. I love that guy, says Shaw. So yeah, Newhart show. I don't even know if that even streams anymore. Maybe on like some what is that, TV Land or something, where they have the old classic TV shows and stuff like that. So I don't know. But yeah, the Newhart show, it had kind of a weird ending. A lot of people didn't like it. It was a bad ending. I Googled it. A Blue Noser is a person from Scotia. So there you go. How about that? Boom. Google has broken your code. You can up there. Can you do a tour of the new studio? Looks pretty sweet from what we can see. Yeah, hopefully when I get done with it, I'll do a tour of that one, because it's not like super huge or anything like that, but I can do the walkthrough as how you get there and all that stuff too. And some things will kind of line up as to how that deal came about. Who should get the 10? If Amarola retires, front row won't let Zane Smith go. Gilliland or McDowell. First thought they should choose Herbst, but not sure after Tony's comment. It just depends on who has control over who goes in that car. If that's a Gene Haas car, if Gene Haas gets to pick who goes in that car, I would lean toward Riley Herbst. The reason I say that is because a lot of people were like, Tony's a hypocrite. He had Cole Custer in that car. Well, that's because that was a Gene Haas pick. So I think if Gene Haas still has control over any of those cars, it would have to be the 10 at this point because Tony has put his drivers in every other car. So I would say if Gene Haas has control, it's going to be Riley Herbst. I would say if not, it's either going to be they'll figure out a way to get Zane Smith, or they might put Gilliland in there. And don't sleep on Christopher Bell. Don't sleep on Christopher Bell because Tony Stewart is high on him as well. Yes, Danny Price, maybe they'll know if they're from Boston, etc. Some guys at work thinks Edward to the 10. I don't know about Edwards. I think he's going to be more of a part-time guy. Newhart was great, says Robin Morris. I was expecting so much more from Landon Castle. Was shocked to see how poor he did last year. Sometimes stepping up into that bigger equipment is they're just so used to driving things that are so underpowered that the good equipment, they have to learn how to drive good equipment. That's a thing for some drivers. What? No shout out to Alberta, says Shaw. Dawson Fair, I'm glad that Josh Berry is going to get Harvick's ride next year. Yeah, for sure. And now that they got to find a sponsor for him, which makes Tony Stewart signing the Bass Pro Shops deal kind of deal. Shaw says, I'm sad now. Well, I tell you what, Shaw, shout out to Alberta, Canada. So there you go. Let's see. Kyle Busch wins this weekend, says Sharitha Cooper. I think Kyle Busch has a good chance to do it. Sorry for the caps, says Shaw. You're good. The caps don't bother me. But why are we called blue nosers, says Danny Price. I don't know. Because you're a puritanical or prudish person, according to, I still got it pulled up, so that was a pretty quick one. Canada is a bit like the Newhart show. Yeah. I could see that. Delmar Kaufman, Decker. I haven't been to Canada yet, so I have no valid opinion on that. Decker has a third or fourth place finish at Daytona in the Truck Series. I think it might be the highest finish for a female. I think you might be right about that. I remember hearing something about that, so I think you might be right about that. Because your boss's butt is frozen, the boat's frozen nose, riding with wheels. I'm going to throw my 2 cents in. I think Zane Smith gets the ride next year. The big deal about Zane Smith is, does Penske want him or does Stewart Haas Racing want him? Because I feel like Front Row is just not going to be able to keep him. So it's just going to depend on which Big Four team wants him more. Delmar Deegan finished second in ARCA. Well, I think Deegan won a race in ARCA, if I'm not mistaken, or at least the K&N, which merged into ARCA later. Let's see. But I think they were talking about the Truck Series, I think is what he was talking about. Dawson Fair, and by the way, I'm picking Chris Buescher to win this weekend at the inaugural Chicago Street Course race for RFK Racing. That's not a bad pick. Chris Buescher, underrated. He's had some good road course runs, and RFK brings some good road course cars as well. I didn't hear the word Ford or Chevy during the broadcast on TV. Yeah, I think Mike Joy gets called, gets paid by the Chevy mention, if I'm not mistaken, because he seems to say Fast Ford, or by the Ford mention, I should say. He seems to say Fast Fords a lot. My faith is restored. Thanks, BB. Says Shy riding. Oh, no problem, dude. Anytime I can help you, dude. Riding, I hope Zane gets that ride. Zane's going to get a good ride either way. No doubt about it. Mark, I was talking NASCAR finish, says Delmar. We were named after the famous sailing schooner named the Blue Nose, was the fastest Grand Bank schooner. So there you go. Blue Noser made the Oxford Dictionary. Hey, there you go. I love it when slang actually makes it in there. And yes, we beat the American schooners. Hey, so there you go. The sailboat racing, I don't know if this is the same thing at all, but the sailboat racing is pretty cool. The America's Cup, I like to check that out when I get a chance. Peace out, BB. Thank you again, as always. Love this chat. Be good, everyone. Take it easy, E. Damon. Always good to see you on here. The Dime also has the Blue Nose on it, says Shaw. Hey, well, there you go. I'm not familiar with Canadian currency other than I think it's called the loonie. But yeah, I don't know what it looks like. Doesn't it have the Queen on it still, if I'm not mistaken? Or some type of royal. Isn't there a royal something on there? I don't know. The Tony Stewart and Haley Deegan comment, I was kind of making the point, Monster is only going to carry her so far. Going to have to share some good talent. So, oh, yeah, I agree with you, Ryden. Oh, there's no doubt about it. I don't think she'll go to SHR with the results she's got now for as far as a Cup Series ride goes. Yeah, you're 100% on point with that. No doubt about it. They've already run that route with Danica, unless Tony sees some type of potential in her that we don't see. And Tony Stewart does look at drivers a lot differently than we look at drivers. So there is that. Don't forget, he took a chance on another guy that wrecked a lot in Ricky Stenhouse for his dirt racing stuff back when he was doing dirt racing. So he might still run a dirt racing deal. I'm not sure, but back when he was doing dirt racing big time, he took a big chance on Ricky Stenhouse. So sometimes he just looks at things different. Ooh, some off topic, and yes, Ricky Stenhouse won a bunch. I'm just making a point. Sometimes he sticks with drivers that wreck. I thought the race might have tons of spins, but nope. Yeah. Dude says Nova Scotia. Well, it's the King now, says Danny Price. Oh, so there you go, the King. So it is. It's tied to British stuff, I guess. Yes, we have the Queen on lots. Oh no, soon the King, says Robin Marks. I would love to see Barstool Sports on either Cup car, Xfinity car, or truck. Di Benedetto, Boyer. We're both sponsored by Barstool. I know they got Rubbin' His Racing podcast. Yeah, they seem to always be at the racetrack too, if I'm not mistaken. At least I saw them in Phoenix before, and I think I saw them at Martinsville this year. It would almost be better, and I definitely saw them at Daytona for the 24 hours. It would almost be better for ARCA to turn into an electric series. Hey, Napa racing fan, don't wish it into existence because it might not be far from happening. At this point, racing product is bad, and only 2 cars going for the wins. I like the shirt, Bologna Burger. Where did you get it at? This shirt, I think I got it at Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is just an Amazon shirt. It was on sale for like $11, and I was like, well, I needed a work shirt, so I went and bought it. Queen, it's got like a real islandy name. I can't remember the name of the company, but it's a real islandy type of name. Queen Queen gives head on one side of all coins. So far, wants Charles Head rolling on the floor laughing, says Shaw. Has SRX started? It starts in the middle of July, if I'm not mistaken, like July 13th or 12th or 11th or something like that. Be glad when this foolishness in Chicago is over Sunday. So, yeah, if you want to vote on the poll, I'll leave it up for one more minute, and then I'll close it because I'll always forget to close them if I don't. Be glad when the foolishness in Chicago is over Sunday so I can get back to a real race, says Ronald Russell. Yeah, a lot of people, just doesn't matter how it goes off. They're just not going to like that race, including the people living in Chicago. July 13th for the SRX, says Mark Barnum. How many wrecks this weekend? I think they're overhyping it, so I'm going to go under 6 wrecks this weekend. I mean, coming weekend, Robin Marks. Yeah, I'm going with under 6. So I'm going to set the under at 6. I think that's fair. I heard there's talk about the Cup Series going to Montreal. What do you think? I think they should go to Canada at some point, whether it's Montreal or Toronto or wherever. Canada definitely deserves a race, in my opinion. And if they want to go international, Canada should be their first stop. That's my thoughts on the matter. It's kind of funny that if Harrison Burton goes SHR, it'll kind of be a downgrade, says Elite. That could be true. We don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what the Wood brothers have right now. Not enough, Robin, talking about cautions or wrecks, says Mark Barnum. I just joined. What's up, you guys? Went to the Ally 400. Was pretty good race. I'd love to see back-to-back Nashville weekend with the Super Speedway and then the fairgrounds, says Ryan Fussner. That would be easy for travel purposes. And it might give them a simulated like extra off week with this particular schedule they got now. So that might be something they do in the future, sort of like a Daytona Speed Weeks, except it would be a Nashville Speed Weeks. Mark, back when Daytona had a Speed Weeks. I would be shocked if Deegan went to a top-notch team ever again. Other good teams are not going to hire this flop after this year, says Mark 63. Well, you say that, but if somebody brings enough money, I don't know. You get one pay driver, and that one pay driver could pay for all of your drivers you want to put in there based on talent. So it can be argued that Stewart Haas Racing took the pay money from GoDaddy and Danica back in the day and funded the other 3 drivers with partial money from Danica's big contract there. After seeing the Chicago course, I think it's going to be a wreck fest. I want to lay bets on the number of cars to actually finish the race of attrition, in my opinion. That's going to be a good bet too. So I'll say probably they finished with 26 to 25 cars. Go to Montreal. It's fun. Toronto is too uptight. There are no runoff areas, just hard walls, says Shy. It's been to Montreal, says dude. Yeah, but not. It's been like a long time since they went to Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not a fan of when NASCAR Diecast gets canceled. Oh, that's the worst. All these pre-orders people have, and then you get the little email. Oh, we decided not to make this one. That's always a bummer. In between the lanes, I agree with you 100% on that one. Ross wins the championship. You heard it here first, says Robin Marks. Hey, there you go. So we got one for Ross winning the championship right there. Today would have been my grandpa Alvin John Leslie's birthday, but he went to heaven on April 25th, 2009, or maybe he did. I'm sure he went there, Dawson. All grandpas go to heaven. So there you go. In my opinion, not to get into that religious stuff or anything like that. Believe whatever you want to believe. That is 100% your right in your business, and everybody is welcome. Delmar Kaufman, is Deegan running SRX this year? That should be fun after Tony's comments. Well, she actually did really good in SRX, so it's just interesting. Y 5:30 Eastern time, even the Central time, running 100 laps will get close to sunset. This track doesn't have lights, obviously, says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, I don't know. That's NASCAR's call. I guess they looked at the TV schedule, and that's the best way it lined up with the TV schedule. KFB had a great race. He did. That pit strategy by him was awesome. We all end up in paradise, says Robin Marks. Salvaged the top 10. Delmar Deegan is running all 6 races, says Mark Barnum. So, yeah. I think she actually showed something in the SRX series, and that's what I'm saying. She seems to be a lot better driving cars than she's obviously is at trucks. And trucks do drive. The truck series is a different beast than stock cars. So I'm not taking up for her. I'm just saying there are some people that are better at certain disciplines that are not good at other disciplines, and this could be the case with her, or it could be the case that she's peaked, and this is what you're going to get with her. But Sheldon Creed, I wanted to get this before we got off here. Sheldon Creed gets at least 1 race suspension. I can't remember how many race suspension it is. 25 points and $25K for intentionally wrecking Sammy Smith and getting who did he get? Did he get the 9 car? Was that the 9 car that was involved in it too? So I think the 9 car was in there as well. And also, yeah, we touched all the other stuff. So that's the only thing I haven't touched on that I wanted to talk about. Delmar Deegan is running all 6 races. Is Austin Dillon in the 3 for RCR finally getting it together? I don't know, but that's another team that needed the run they had. So thank goodness. Narrative continues with SHR being trash, except for Harvick before the tire. Yeah. Harvick was actually making a run. He might have had a second place car there if it hadn't been for that tire. I think he ran over something personally. Come on up, Baloney, for beer and lobster, says Danny Price. I'd love to come on up to Canada at some point. Austin Dillon, I gotta get my passport though. Austin Dillon is about as good as he ever will be, in my opinion, says Shaw. Yeah, and he's a pretty decent race car driver. He's just never going to be Dale Earnhardt, and that's what people are irritated about because he's in the 3 car most of the time. Unless you're an Eric Almirola fan, then you're irritated because he stole a 500. I don't know what anybody would have done differently there, though. Once it is what it is. Maybe Tony is just hyping things up for SRX. He could be. I jinxed Austin because I was cheering along, but I charmed Ross. I'm a leprechaun. I'm lots Irish, says Robin. LOL, says Shaw, talking to Robin. Dawson Fair, I think Haley Deegan will win at Mid-Ohio in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race because she finished in 10th there last year. She's got a good chance there. Like I said, she's had some races where she finishes well. She's just got to stay out of trouble. She's got to finish races. She's got to finish races, and she's got to work on her restarts. That's my 2. Not that she asked my opinion, and not that she cares, but that would be my two critiques as far as that goes. Anytime I see a FedEx truck, I always say Denny, the delivery guy, Hamlin. And anytime I see a DHL truck, I think of Roman Grosjean. So, yeah, for sure, 100% on that. And it looks like we're toward the end of the chat here, so get your last ones in. And if you don't have anything else, we'll hop off with Chastain, Truex, and Blaney breaking long winless streaks. Keselowski's win is coming soon. I think so too. I really think before the year is out, Brad Keselowski gets a win. Let's start that poll. See what you guys think. We'll throw this one up before I forget to close it. So go ahead and vote on it now, and it will probably fall where it falls. Go Ross Go, says Robert Marks. Is there an IndyCar race this weekend? I have no clue. I'm not an Indy expert. All my Indy knowledge comes from David Land. Niagara region, says Robert Marks. Diggin needs at least 2 top 10s or a top 5 to restore my faith, says Sha. Yeah, so she needs to run good to sort of get back on track, period. How many winners this year? Probably 12 or 13. I think that's going to be the max. Looking at the old Welland Canal, prayers to Jimmy's family. So say, yeah, that's a rough situation. I don't want to comment on it too much until all the facts come out on it, because I don't want to misspeak on it. But if what happened, that is terrible. As terrible can be. IndyCar is at Mid-Ohio Sunday at 1:30 p.m. on USA. So there you go. Check it out on USA. We have to forget to close the poll. It's a tradition, says Shah. Yeah, it definitely is a tradition to close the poll. And Robert Mark says sad. Yeah, definitely sad about the Jimmy Johnson deal. Just an awful situation. I don't know what to say about that. Looks like we've hit the end of it. So I don't see any more. So I appreciate y'all for hanging out. It was fun. We finally got the internet back, so I feel good about it. Let's see here. If you want to buy the hats, we got some new merch, including the camo one. So check it out at the merch store. Just dropped it there. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace. IndyCar is at Mid-Ohio this weekend. He forgot how to end the stream. Oh, no. Oh, he forgot to close the